All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're live with the proper Into the Mind of Madness. Last episode, I kind of just took a little bit of time to chit chat about how we did at Worlds because we're going to spend a lot of time on that on the Meta Lab, so I don't want to take too much of everybody's time. So as to allow whoever comes on with me on the Meta Lab on Monday to regale us with all of their tales. In addition, we have a couple more updates as far as channels is concerned, and then we're going to get right into the state's Pauper. Excuse me, I'm kind of fiddling with things. Got a stack of cards here. This upcoming states, which is going to be switching to a new format, which was originally some kind of half-sealed hybrid constructed thing, which has changed now to the Pauper format. But channel stuff, just a heads up. Tomorrow is our 3,000 subscriber celebration AMA. If you have any questions for me and Amber, this is not limited just to patrons. We have a post on our Facebook, facebook.com/marriedwithclicks, or look up the Married with Clicks community group. I promise you, we'll add you. We don't usually deny people unless you look like a robot, because we don't all want fantastic deals on sunglasses, rather. So, yeah, that's just give us a pop in, or if you want to join us on the show live tomorrow and ask questions in the chat. We'll set that up. If you're a member of the Patreon at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks, drop us a line in the patron-only Discord. Okay, I think I've plugged that enough. It's time to talk about this upcoming states format. Now, unfortunately, WizKids couldn't as well just kind of jump the gun for everybody else, and as a result, a lot of us here in Canada already have our X-Men stuff. So, unfortunately, you guys gotta wait till the 25th. Sorry. But it does have my juices flowing on this upcoming states, and it's a format that's going to be new to some people, and it does in a lot of cases bear some explanation, or at least some strategy talk at the bare minimum. So let's take a look at what the format is in general. We're going to try it with this. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to add that. There we go. All right, here I am. All right, so states and provincials. We're known for making quick changes as necessary. The following change is perhaps not one that was necessary, but one that we feel will make things better. We are changing the format for the second half states, states and provincials championship tournaments. The official format is now Pauper Modern Age with a Highlander rule. So those of you familiar with the Pauper format, is not the Everman format. They allow commons and uncommons, no fast forces, no starters. This one is slightly different. This format is slightly different, but I have been assured that things will be changing in the world anyway. So in this case, you're only allowed Modern Age figures and elements that are either uncommon or common. Right? So only modern figures and elements that are either uncommon or common are allowed. All characters and elements during force construction are considered unique, which is, we'll get into in a second. Figures from starter sets and fast forces are allowed. Prime figures and exclusives are not allowed. Figures in all elements that can be produced in multiples after force construction are allowed. So you got this Batman. I think Batman Animated series had those suited henchmen that you could create with leadership. You can have a bunch of those off to the side to bring in these are from out of the game. This is not like inclusive of sideline elements. Those are not sideline elements. Those are literally referred to as out of the game elements. So that's the format. And what does this mean in general? Well, the general consensus of a format like this is a lot of people scream takes away the pay to win element, and a lot of people who scream that are going to find some excuse as well to scream at the people who do win when everything is allowed and still end up winning in this. So I don't think anybody's going to be made happy in that sense. We'll see. It does. What I like about the Pauper format is, once again, we're presented with a situation in which we get to use more of our collection. Rares, super rares, chases, con exclusives, some rares, some uncommons, some commons do find their way into the competitive metagame if you're playing in the 300-point competitive environment. Awesome. That aside, what that means is, What this means is there's going to be commons and uncommons, a lot of figures that we don't normally make use of that are actually going to stand out as super potent and super strong in this format. And I think I almost brain farted on trying to say that. And that's what I love about a format like this, is there's a ton of characters I'm looking at going, I really wish there was some kind of use I had for that. Now, ultimately, some figures won't make this format either. That's an unfortunate fact. That's just a fact of life, as one of my favorite wrestlers and Eli Drake would say. Shame I heard some stuff about him in regards to why he no longer... Anyway, not talking about wrestling. Oh, give me a second. My webcam got out of sync with my voice for a second there, and I use this. I actually use the camera thing to kind of keep myself in line to a certain degree. So, and when I'm saying something and I see my lips move after the fact, or I know the audio's, it means the audio is going bad for you guys too. So, anyway, that aside, I think it's time to kind of take a look. At HC Realms, and let's talk about figures we're going to see kind of come out of the woodwork for this format. Now, the thing you got to ask yourself is, at any point did I say X figure was good? And that will be kind of a marker for that. One of the figures I think is going to stand out as a lot more potent than in this format than any other format is going to be the Diana Prince from Elseworlds. She's got 3 keywords that you can make use of: Justice League, Past, or Police. And then she's got a leadership where if she rolls it, when she doesn't succeeds after a friendly character, other friendly characters that share a keyword with her modify their attack and defense by +1. So if you're using a Justice League theme team, or a Past theme team, or a Police theme team, you can count on your entire team getting +1 attack, +1 defense, a third of the time. You can't count on anything when it comes to leadership, believe me. But that's a figure I kind of look at and go, that's interesting. I wonder what we could do with that. Another figure, same set, in the uncommon slot that kind of, I guess, highlighted to me, is this Green Lantern here. This guy has 60 points for 6 clicks of health. Okay? And he's got this unfortunate downside. At the beginning of the game, place 8 battery tokens on this card. When Green Lantern attacks, remove a battery token. When there are no battery tokens on this card, Green Lantern can't make range attacks or use powers or abilities. Okay, not great. But you have to make 8 attacks with him for that to be a problem. Okay? What's more, he's got a special attack power that gives him Pulse Wave and Telekinesis. Now, Pulse Wave in this format is not going to be very forthcoming. As a result, this is a source of both Running Shot and Pulse Wave with a reasonable attack that you can get up. He comes with Green Lantern Corps and Justice League. So that's 2 characters with the Justice League keyword we've already looked at, and that's kind of a research into things. We're not to, of course, ignore the fact that Nekharun, the Bat God, exists as a character who can give an entire team stealth. We've got a Superman whose only downside is he takes damage if he kills things for 70 points that does with an 11 attack for damage. Like, in a lot of cases, I'm okay with him taking the damage. What's more, he's got super strength, which means he's got a built-in knockback. So if you happen to attack with him, like, I'm just going right into characters that kind of highlight this format. And the reason I'm following up with this is, think about the competitive metagame and where any of these characters come up in the conversation. I think at most, maybe the Green Lantern that we've talked about so far have been considered in the format. And this is kind of where I'm coming from on this. I really like where this is going. These are just big highlights of characters that are really great that could potentially shine in this format. I do weep for other characters that I wish I could use. Oh my goodness, there's so many things I wish I could use. As far as the Mighty Thor is concerned, there's a few meat sticks in this set that could really shine. One of which I believe is Hogan, and he comes with his knobbed mace, which is an uncommon item. His knobbed mace is an item. So aside from Hogan himself, his item is available. And the Mighty Thor starter set is going to be another conversation we have as well, because by golly, is that thing potent. But I also want to kind of draw attention to this Captain America. I've used him on several occasions. He's 55 points with charge, flurry, plasticity, and his movement power. Combat reflexes, so if you can get in there, you're good. And 11 attack with blades. And we're already in your... Some people are already having the conversation about Avengers teams with Voyager. Yeah, he fits into that format if you so choose to go with that. All right. There's this Thor and I believe the Eric Masterson and Jane Foster are... People have been using this, and this could come out as a little stronger in this format. Okay, I'm kind of clicking at things, trying to remember. I think Mighty Thor was a little bit soft in the common set, but makes up for it with their starter set, with specifically the Hulk. We all know this Hulk. We all know him too well. And he is going to be legal in this format, and he's going to be a potent force to be reckoned with. But this force, this fast force, also comes with a 4-point Asgardian shield, which is equipment we can use in this format, which is 4 points for energy shield on an entire dial. Nothing wrong with that. For reference, this is what the Nod's Mace does. When this character hits with an opposing character with a close attack, modify the character's attack by -2. I believe Blood Axe is also falls under this category of uncommon. I got to double check. Just give me a second, because I believe he comes with Executioner, but he's also 10 points. Battle Fury, we exploit weakness, steal energy. Good combination of powers. It's equipment we can use in the format because it comes attached to this guy. And you don't have to use this guy for it. It's 10 points. Go for it. I think that's great. The Undead set, unfortunately, in the common set, I think Zombie Abraham Lincoln is one of the outliers at best for a monster-themed team in this format. Unfortunately, Belphegor is a rare, and I can't use him because I would. I totally would. Thor Ragnarok, most of the set is considered a static, or half the set is commons, the other half is rare. And the Thor and the Hulk are really good in this format. The Loki is kind of a tricky character if you want to get some extra tricks out of the set. It's generally just a really good, potent, basic beat stick set. Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls, this is where you get things that are a little bit more on the supporty side, but you are not without highlights. Bud and Lou, do not disregard them for 25 points of awesome support. Lou being poison, or Bud being probability control. Offensive only, but not great. Okay, yeah, I do have to mention. Okay, I'm looking for highlights, right? And I do have to remind myself and everybody else, for building a monster team in this format, I've used Dr. Frankenstein to great effect. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. So, where we're going from, and those of you who are watching, I hope we're catching on, is that we're really just trying to highlight what's great, going to be great in this format. And I'm not necessarily building teams yet. I've come up with one team that is pure Jason. It's like absolute pinnacle Jason team. And I'm probably going to run it. This Red Tornado. I love this figure for this format. 18 defense with defense. This is a format where defense might matter. We're Heroclix players. We try to find a way to make defense not matter. We'll throw Perplex on our team. We'll throw Prob on our team to try to make sure we're hitting. But in general, defense could potentially long-term matter. I believe this Renee Montoya was pretty good too. When she uses police team ability, no other characters using it. Damage up from the attacker can't bleed, reduced below 1. A light penetrating, or a light precision strike for those who might need it. In addition to Perplex for, she's 50 points with PD team abilities. So, This is our version of Skeets for this format. She's police, so she does work with Diana Prince. Don't forget that. Star Trek, the original series, has a ton of great commons and uncommons. Like Chekhov, I think, is reliable prop for 45 points. I really wish What If was in there, because Dr. Stark... Oh, man, Dr. Stark at 45 points would probably be fantastic, because I think he flies, too. Not important. He's not in the format. Mr. Scott, Dr. McCoy, who's only ever let me down, but is still a delight. 25-point healer. And with an attack 11, and he doesn't push when he does it. Yeoman Rand, don't poo-poo this lady. Removing action tokens from characters so they can keep going if they're 50 points or less. That can go the distance. That can go pretty far with that. X-Men Xavier's School. We got the X Factor guys, such as, Jean Grey. Now, here's another thing we have to mention as well. Do you know what is common? Student IDs. Okay? And I want to point out a couple student IDs that are really going to make some noise in the format. Sprite, for one. She can bring out Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is in Regenesis. We'll talk about it in a second. Permanent energy explosion on the board. Artie, usable, but is he really? I believe Leech is also usable in the format. So, in a nutshell, you could Leech somebody. Rusty, Skids will be usable in format. All new Wolverine Brew, unfortunately, there's only rare versions of those to use. Gold Balls, same problem. Prodigy, I believe, also falls under this problem. I'm looking at the wrong thing, and I'm just making my eyes hurt. Prodigy's are rare as well. Chambers are rare. Husk is a rare. So, that's hilarious. Wait, no, Husk is uncommon? Where's Husk? I've probably blown past it, and people are screaming at me right now. Jason, stop moving the bloody cursor. Oh no, Husk's common. Husk's usable. If you want to use Husk. Jubilee, uncommon with energy explosion, usable. I believe Skin is also Skin's usable. Usable doesn't necessarily mean strategically great, right? And Sync, I believe, is a Sync's a rare? No, Sync's lower rarity than that. Yeah, here he is, Sync. Alright, so, anyway, I've gone through all of that. There will be some ID cards that are usable. They are kind of on the top end for usability. Artie and Leech are options, but just consider what you're using them for. If that matters. Excuse me a second. You know what food you don't eat before you do a podcast like this? Popcorn. Bad idea. Anyway, the X-Men starter set has your great options for Rusty and Skids. So if you're choosing to use those, we go into Avengers Infinity. Now that's where things start getting really crazy. So Pip the Troll, reliable carrying character that doesn't rely on keywords much like Voyager does. Her is a good, strong, beefy character that could possibly tentpole a team. Moondragon, great. Mind Control, Firefall. I do believe the ROC has got to clarify. My understanding is that the X-Men Prime on uniques are not legal, so I believe the Avengers Infinity ones also should not be. But that's not to say that, we already got Kismet here. Was a great character. Black Panther 2099, reasonable. Was this Nick Fury any good? I mean, there's situations where I might even consider this Venom Space Knight. Because why not? There's a lot of possibility in the format. But here's where things get stupid wacky in the format. Things like Giant Girl are legal in this format. This is where things go crazy. Shield Flying Cars, legal. Kree Sentries, legal. Colossal Hulk, legal. 250 or under. Dune Buggy, legal. Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl, legal. Giganto, not Namor and Giganto, just Giganto, legal. Nebula, legal. I'm not necessarily saying these are all good, they're just legal. Jakar, legal. Chronos has a format that he might actually be really good in. A 60-point colossal probber who can prob more than once, depending on the dice roll. Like, holy smokes. Of course, there's also these guys from the Fast Forces. TMNT 4. We've already used some of these guys. We know what's good. Unfortunately, the Foot Elite aren't legal. Sorry, guys. But the starter set is. And you know what's disgusting about these guys? They just don't die. They are not easy to take down. And if you can get, I believe the most reliable way to carry them is Donatello. The problem is that, unfortunately, because of the Highlander rule, you can't use these guys as just their best versions. And you also have to find a way to move them. That is also not an easy task, given that we no longer have Overdrive, who would have been legal in the format based on rarity. So you got to find a way to move these guys how you need them. Pip the Troll does come to mind, but then you lose out on multiple carryings and stuff like that. You may just have to build either a martial artist or a TMNT/TMNT ally without all four of them necessarily, though all four of them gives you the 4 quarter tokens. That's important. Batman the Animated Series, of course, has a suited henchman and a number of ways to bring him out. We have a 30-point source of prop in the Joker. We have this Batman. But we have a Batman. That's what's important. We also have a Batman Beyond. This guy is so good. So strong. And he actually kind of performs in the format if you can get what you need coming out of him. Shame you can't get Clock King. But the Riddler, if you're looking to be silly, the Riddler's got you covered. Looking to make a Pog strategy? Maxi Zeus is legal in the format. It's not unheard of to come up with some kind of multiple Pog generation with him. Harvey Dent is a really good, reliable prob who can also kind of fight to some degree. He's got PD team ability as well. Who else kind of stands out in here? It is a shame they kind of force-fed the unique rule on it, because I would love multiple DDs. But, them's the break. You take the good with the bad. Kyodai Ken, he's just kind of good. Commissioner Gordon, really good support character. Pit crews are going to be a thing in this format. Be aware of that. I believe it was a Poison Ivy in this that makes the growing vines. Oh, that's gonna be gross. That's gonna be so good, so good. Secret Wars Battle World. Sheriff Steve Rogers. Now, worth noting, Sheriff Steve Rogers comes with the past keyword. If you can build around somehow the past keyword and get some probability control going in there. Sheriff Steve in conjunction with Diana Prince make a cowboy team. A very good cowboy team. Thanos duplicates aren't terrible characters. Molly Hayes. I mean, thank God for the Highlander rule. I'd play multiples. But yeah, Molly Hayes is super strong. If you want to go off theme and not worry about map, like she'll break some faces. Again, I'm not going piece by piece. I'm just gonna kind of highlight some things because I'm more or less introducing us to things that you don't usually consider and can be considered in this format. And then you also got to look at characters we've already used in full constructed, like Alex Wilder. Imagine where he sits in this format. That does have some guys who are mystical or scientists, or just if you're starting to build that Runaways theme team, right? What else? Clara Prast. Nobody's going to poop on one free barrier square, but we're going to talk about some free barrier in a second. Barrier. Just quick peek at these guys. I mean, this Iron Man's not bad. He's just not great. We move into Earth X, where commons get not bad, but not great. We do have things like Rhino and Lizard. Using the Sinister 6 trait, if you can get 6 Sinister Syndicate guys, or combine them with the Villains United, give out some theme. If you can get 6 guys, all with +1 to their stats, watch your opponent just deal with that. I mean, Ezekiel Sims is a reliable source of prob and barrier as well. Free barrier, oddly enough, there's a lot of sources of free barrier in this format. I was surprised to discover. Luke Cage is almost considerable. I wouldn't, but the skull, I've seen the skull used in the standard world, so why not? The Earth X starter has some pretty cool keynote stuff. Captain Marvel set is, excuse my color chick, up to figure 9, and I believe that is not flight-based full Coulson. But there's still some stuff. Thankfully, no Korath. That could have been bad. Oh boy, could that have been bad. But like, there's a solid Captain Marvel. There's a solid Nick Fury. There's a few things in a format in the set that are good. Rebirth gives us things like Duke Thomas, if you want to consider that. Swarm a guy and get some extra attack value out of him. If there was a Gotham City or martial artist team that you're looking at, maybe. Can you imagine forcing your Ninja Turtles into their face in a martial artist theme team? They're going to be hard to kill, and they're going to stick around, and they're going to get +1 attack for each other friendly character adjacent to their target. You get all 4 next. There's +3 attack on all of them. Deal with it. What else? I mean, you're not going to get prop out of it. Well, I think one of them, Michelangelo or Donatello, might have prop. There's Super Dash Man. Prez Rickard to fill out your leadership if you're lacking it. Steel I've looked at. It's a shame about him. Billy Batson for 20 points is good Perplex. I mean, reliable, mystical Perplex. I mean, sorry, I say mystical, and it's also Fawcett City, Justice League International, Justice Society, Mystical Reporter. With willpower on that potential Justice League theme team, you could also be prop, right? Because we talked about some Justice League guys. Artemis is a meaty dial with Outsiders team ability. That's a team ability we don't have much of, and a character who's half decent in the set. Then we get to Avengers Black Panther. And we know, we've already been talking about her, and it's Medusa. Medusa and Voyager. Now, the lucky point is that because this is a Highlander format, she'll be unique. And so will Voyager, which means you kind of have to play off of each of them. But that doesn't mean you can't make it work, because there's Quake. There is the Fast Force Hulk. Shield White agents, Shield Red agents are still legal in the format, and there's 2 giant girls at 10 points, I believe, that you could bring in. 2 different giant girls, Uncommon and the Fast Force one. So you still have 2 versions of that if you want to add your extra carrying level to that. So the team still exists in a different form, and Medusa isn't going anywhere for this format. So brace yourself for that. All right. That aside, the Shield Diplomat, reliable Perplex with Defend. Making Medusa have to roll a 7 is better than making her have to roll a 6, This Hulk could be a tent pole. It's up to you. Proxima Midnight, really tough, right? Yeah, Medusa is definitely the reason the format's Highlander. They didn't want to see her. Unfortunately, it's ruined some of my other fun ideas. So thanks for ruining my fun, Medusa. But we got another set that's really strong, and we're Genesis. Wolverine, we know he's a nightmare if you build that Jean Grey school team, and that Jean Grey school team is buildable. Cyclops is a really good range fighter. Kitty Pryde can be used as a call-in for 3 points on your team. Energy Explosion pops in with Lockheed. So, super, super potent there. Storm can be played. She's not bad. Beast, super playable. Shame about his ID card, but, at 70 or 40 points, he's still really good depending on the team. X-Men themed teams are viable because X-Men Animated, because of Genesis, and because of X-Men Xavier's School. They are viable in the format. I don't think they're going to dominate. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they are viable. Rachel Summer is really good, but I think she's actually a rare. She's a rare. Sorry, ignore me. Magneto's actually pretty strong as a character. Resistance is futile. We have a couple board guys, but we do have Counselor Troy, who's defend and prob. Can't go wrong with that. There's the Starfleet Ensign. If you want to pay 20 points for Perplex, that's a 2-click source of Perplex, or 2-click source of TK, depending on what you need if you're looking at a Starfleet team, or if you're just looking to go off theme. I don't think theme is kind of a 50-50 on this one. I don't know if it's 100% necessary, but there is a lacking degree of probability control in the format, so you do have to be aware of that. And I think Counselor Troy is a reliable source of 50-point prop. And the defend is not going to get her kicked out of the team. Reginald Barkley is going to be an interesting play, especially if you go for full dial Barkley. Ensign Crusher, playable at 50. Also playable at 25. Both versions very good. I think 50 is really awesome. Nurse Agawa, if you're looking for some support. There's also Beverly Crusher if you're looking for other slightly more reliable source of support. All right. And then we go into XMen Animated, which I'm going to pull up in a second. We're just going to do this thing. We're going to do this because you don't want to see me trying to navigate through HC Realms. I didn't have the set up, and I should be ashamed of myself. But, sorry. Already we're starting to see a number of things that kind of become worth consideration. There's a lot. I wouldn't say there's any new archetypes per se. I think there's a lot of new cool ideas and combinations of figures that are going to be considered. All right, so we're going to go back to this one. Bingo. All right. So carrying on, we go to X-Men Animated now. This is the set I think is really, really format strong. Wolverine, 12 attack. Enough said. X-Men teams are going to be great because of this. Rogue's not bad. Beast, plus 2 perplex for X-Men? Sure. Assassin's Guild's 15 points if you're building that martial artist theme team. They have Charging Blades, man. Guard Command is going to fill up some Brotherhood theme teams. That's about it. Friends of Humanity, not necessarily on board, but usable, man. They're usable. Because, you have things like Bolivar Trask who can bring them out. Scanner is kind of an okay consideration. But I think Callisto is really a really strong source of leadership and just good. Like, Callisto is a very underrated dial with traded stealth, combat, a close combat expert, and a leadership that she can get an auto success on. Kleinstock Brothers, if you're brave enough, go for 3 of them. If you're brave enough. Are you brave enough? Magneto A, not bad if you're rounding out a Brotherhood team. Magneto B, not usable. Legally in the tournament format, you can't use him. Deadpool, a lot of people wondering why this one's in the set. Cyclops. This is a really good version of Cyclops that's uncommon, with a really good leadership. Like, free move if the character that you leadership has 0 action tokens. Okay. Jean Grey, reliable TK. Cable, 100 points, 3 cables. That's pretty insane. Belladonna is not bad. Graydon Creed makes Friends of Humanity. Senator Rod Kelly makes Friends of Humanity. Keep a sideline full of them if you're playing a Sentinel theme team, guys. Amelia Vogt, protect your brotherhood and perplex. Fabian Cortez, I think he's underrated. I think Fabian Cortez is a really good figure. If you're going off theme, I think he's great. +1 all combat values with a risk of damage. I mean, if I risk myself, this is the Proteus, the Proteus version 1.0 conundrum. I can get +1 to all my stats, which could potentially turn my output of 4 damage, which in a lot of cases might become 2 or 3, turn it into a 4 or 3 situation, right? My range of 9 becomes a 10. My attack of 11 becomes a 12. Like, I think Fabian Cortez is underrated. In addition to the fact that if you pop him on, or if you use him to push the damage on, or to push the stats on a character who's adjacent, who's got range, then he also adds his enhancement to that. So you could get a potential +2 damage on a character with an extra attack, with the possible downside of taking a damage. In main world, not 100% reliable. And it is a power action, which is a shame. But he has leadership, so he takes care of his own thing. But in this format, I'm not considering it. Not. The Blob, big, meaty dude. You can't get through his dial quickly. Great. Toad, super obnoxious, actual tie-up. Sabretooth he's just strong. He's just strong. He starts with charge, flurry, stealth. Come on. And if he takes damage, he might heal. And if he loses action tokens from a source that isn't like clearing, he heals. Like, this set is bonkers for this format. In addition to which, as I'm scrolling down, we move into Colossals in this set. Now, Sentinel Squad 1 is a really good vehicle. It's a good thing they were smart enough to disallow those uniques, because you imagine Magneto B driving a Sentinel Squad 1. Cell Sentinel, not Cell Format legal. This Sentinel, we talked about Bolivar Trask, we talked about Robert Kelly. Might come out. Yes, I'll deal with that in a minute. I think this one's a format strong dude. Nimrod at 175 points, or even if you want a one-man army, I'm at 275. I think he's viable. He's super obnoxious, and he's going to be format problematic. The Orange Proteus for 20 points. If you're looking to make a monster theme team, and you're considering the Dr. Frankenstein in that team like I am, I gotta say, free barrier is free barrier, and he makes 2 free squares of barrier, man. He's also got shape change, also got smoke cloud, and in addition to which, he has Battle Fury on his Colossal Retaliation, which I much later discovered does do damage. Wow. Surprise on my face. I thought it didn't do damage when I first read it. Cool. Exodus is one of those guys who's... I want him to be better, but he needs that leadership role to be great. And you always get that leadership role whenever you don't want it. Onslaught is another one like Nimrod, man. Really, really stands out in this format. Like, outside of 5, you can't target him. He's protected from Mind Control, Outwit, Psychic Blast. And he can use Incapacitate or Mind Control or TK as free. He's also got triple target 9 range. with mind control for free. Can we talk about this? Juggernaut is a Brotherhood dude. Super playable in general. Sasquatch is not a bad figure. Playable. Green Dragon Puff can attack so many times if he really gets into the right map and the right situation. 25-point Phoenix, the Rachel Summers Phoenix, is 25 points with a Colossal Retaliation that isn't completely reliable, but don't worry about that, because she's also 10 range with TK, who's a Colossal, very easy to draw a line of fire with, for 25 points. She's also traded Poison and Energy Shield. So, and then we push into rares, and we're out of the thing. So, the long and the short of it, as we've gone to kind of a quick tour of the common and uncommon slot of forgotten figures, is this is an interesting format. There's a lot of possibility and a lot of really good ideas that we can all come up with. And what's important about it is it doesn't stifle players who could be good, just lack budget, right? I do still think that a lot of really good players are still going to find themselves on the top of a lot of these tournaments. And I know that one particular guy is going to play a ridiculously silly team that is going to shake his fist at the Highlander rule. That's me. And I think I've made it fairly public in a lot of cases. So overall, this is kind of the stuff that we're looking at now. And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about possible teams. Not just my possible teams, but possible teams that are possible in the format in general. Teams that are possible just that other people could come up with. Teams that I am possibly playing. And, ways to try to deal with all of these things. So, the long and short of it is, it's really exciting looking to the future of this. It's really exciting looking to the future of me talking about it. And in general, I got no problems with this change. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure about traveling for it. I know a lot of people kind of look at it and go, I'm going to go travel to go play with my commons and uncommons. And I kind of get that mentality. I just don't agree with it necessarily. I think it's a fun format. It reduces your travel costs when you think about, oh my god, I got to get a chase to the last second in some cases. You don't have to do that anymore. You have to get some uncommons. At this point, I'm mostly building, some of my teams I'm building are out of my extras boxes, which is kind of hilarious. I'm not building out of my collection because then I got to put commons and uncommons away, whatever. But this just kind of expands on the figures that we're using, and I'm really looking forward to just letting my brain mull around some ideas, and then going back to the full-fledged format when it's required, and come up with some really kooky stuff for that as well. I do believe X-Men is a set that really opens the game up to a lot of really cool stuff, and I want to see how it all functions individually. So. That said, if you're watching live, throw us some questions. We'll talk about what's going on and whatnot. And there is one question, and I do want to address Rahiel in the chat. He says, I believe Medusa is a reason for the format as Highlander. I believe you're right, sir. I think I said it earlier, but I do believe Medusa is a reason this format is Highlander, but I don't think she's the only reason. There's a lot of teams. Even if you go and look at Everyman format results, there are a lot of teams, using a lot of copies of figures, which, all right, I'm cool with that, personally. But when Medusa is viable in the standard competitive game, I kind of step back and go, perhaps, maybe not good for the format that's supposed to be dialing the game a little bit down. But Medusa is not the only character capable of doing what Medusa does, and as a result, I think her team is still, to a degree, viable, just with different character names. Those character names being Quake, Medusa, and the Fast Force and Hulk. Voyager is still carrying them all. I think get used to Voyager being on Click 2, which is good. because that's perplex. Happy little Heroclix. So the no prime rule follows through to the unique figures from X-Men and Avengers Infinity. This is where the communication kind of gets a little wacky. The originator of the Pauper format is not allowing the uniques from X-Men in its format, and I understand the reasoning why. And I'm sure the Avengers Infinity ones are already not allowed. And the reason for that is both of them, like, if you saw the complete Chase Prime sets that the winners got at Worlds of X-Men stuff, those uniques were included in those. As a result, it's pretty safe to say that if WizKids considers them Prime, we consider them Prime. And they haven't been too common when it comes down to it, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm pulling 2 of the Magneto Bs per case or anything like that. So, that said, want to thank everybody for watching. I look forward to spending a little bit more time on the format throughout the weeks. We'll flip-flop between standard metagame and this metagame. Maybe get 1 or 2 episodes a week. Excuse my yawning. And we will look forward to the future of this. And I hope it really takes off, and I hope this kind of quells some people when, you know, either, you know, when if people who win tournaments already are winning this format, can we all shut up about the pay-to-win aspect? That's my big goal. That's my big takeaway from this, is if guys like PJ are winning, guys like George are winning, guys like Isaac are winning, guys like Ed are winning, like people who win tournaments or who have a name in the game, if they're winning these tournaments, is it really pay to win? You know what I mean? So, that said, have a good night, everybody. And thanks for joining me as we step into the mind of madness that was the Pauper format. We'll see you guys on the flip side. See you tomorrow for our AMA. Have a good evening. Yay 3000.